Hey guys, what's up? FootyFC here, and today, welcome to the first of, well, what's going to be a few part series of, well, just general tutorials about the game. Now, this is helpful for both people that perhaps are new to the game, and also those that have been playing a while, but there's so much changing every year in Football Manager, it's hard to keep up, and it's nice to sometimes get a different perspective on things. The things that I'm going to be talking about in this video are not necessarily the correct ways, nor are they the wrong ways. They are my perspective and how I like to do them. So it gives you a nice little baseline for them. So today's episode is on youth, how to develop them, how to nurture them, everything along that. So that's what I'm going to delve into. Some of this stuff's going to sound really basic, I'll just let you know. But there's going to be some interesting bits as well. So, you know, whether you're new or whether you're an experienced player, this might give you one or two things to think about. So, in FM20, you'll have the Development Centre. We'll start with the first page and we'll just work our way completely. So with the first page, you'll see these progression bars. They are very helpful. And are often overlooked. It's just like, oh, they're all my good players, cool, let's go on to something else. No. No. These are showing the progression of your players. Now, you see this one says needs attention. These are players that are really not performing. They give you some advice as well as to why that might not be. Like, injury. Now this one needs a bit more playing time and match experience. So, if we click on him, right, okay, so he's in our under 23s. If he needs more game time, loaning him out would be the best option for us. He might not be anything special, but we're going to pretend he is, okay? If he's not getting the game time he needs, then we go and loan him out. You know, then I'll have a look at these other players, obviously the ones to watch, the good players, and I'm seeing something right here. Okay, so what's going on here? If I click on him, he's contracted to us, great. It looks like he's playing in the competition, great. He doesn't look good enough to be loaned out, that's fair enough. So why is this taking a hit? And let's have a look. Now it seems as though his average match rating is not too bad. Not bad enough for anything major to happen. So perhaps, has he been injured? Medical report. He's got a high risk, but he's only been out 1 day, so you know, this is what then confuses you. So you go and want to check all about, find out what is causing you know, his ratings to go the way they are. If we go on development, it'll say progress. Yeah, you'll see how it's going straight down. So there's clearly a reason for this. The reason as to what I personally have no idea. And the reason I have no idea is mainly because he's going to be nothing to me, personally. But if he was, you'd want to have a look. There's plenty you can have a look at, like I said, from injuries to the way he's playing. What's going wrong? Does he need more attention individually? You know, maybe it would help if I intensified his training and gave him something specific to work on. You know, has he got good vision? No, he's not got good vision, so I'd play as just a normal centre back. And I mean, yeah, he's definitely got stats that need improving. So moving on from that, you don't always want to listen to the stars on this game. And the reason, frustrating, absolutely frustrating. The reason being, they don't always tell you the truth. And let me tell you what I mean by this. I muck about with it from time to time because I like to get a more in-depth knowledge of the game. And in there you can see what current and potential abilities are, which I find is pretty cool. I don't use it for normal saves, but I like to have an in-depth look at things and play around with some things from time to time. But for the purpose of this video, I had a look at some stats. Now, you would not think that Nico Williams here, okay, so judging by star, 2-star with a shadowed out one, you would not think he has better potential ability than my Harvey Elliott. Now this isn't the same for all, by the way, because they change from time to time, but in this specific save, Harvey Elliott looks the better player if you go by stars, but that is not always the case. So you want to keep an eye out. Anyone who is within a 3-star sort of region, you kind of want to keep an eye on and just see how they develop as a player. But yeah, that's all you want to do there. Now, if I go back into the development centre, so we've gone through all that. Another thing you want to look at is loans. Loans help get the playing time in, which is something very important to a player. Now, you will notice a lot. There's a huge jump in quality from, say, let's say someone who's under 23s, because I don't like learning out under 18s. Okay, I like to keep them here just because they're not of the ability. But if we look at the ability of, say, under 23s, okay, loads of 2 stars. I know I said not to listen to 2 stars, but it's a good little thing just to go by. So 2 stars. Now, if I click on Woodburn, he's been loaned to Oxford. And let's look at the team he's playing in. Can I look at the senior players? Okay, so he's playing with people in and about. Now, whilst he's the highest rated player there, he's playing with people in and about. Probably not the best example of that. I don't know why he got loaned to Oxford. It wasn't actually my idea, it's just real life. Later, we'll use this one's a bit of a better example. Go half of Berlin. Now, the people he's playing with are in and around his value, and the league in which he's playing with is a better league. The better league they're playing in, as well as performing, I mean, he's not performing very well, but you know, playing with better players is naturally going to make you a better player, and Football Manager does take that on board. It's not just it's not a simple game. It does take little things like that on board. So if I'm loaning players out that are to a better standard than what they currently are playing, it's gonna help them. I only tend to loan players that I think actually have a future. I don't really tend to bother with the rest of them, as you can kind of see. I don't really bother. But yeah, so that gives them the experience, playing time, and it's a great way to go. It is a brilliant way to go. Now you will also find, like I've got a loan here, a loan there, players that won't get the loans. What you want to do with these players, move them up to the senior squad. Okay, make them available still for their matches. Okay, so I want you still to be available, but I want you in my senior squad. Let's do the same with Williams here. Okay, so senior squad, but I want you to be available for the under 18 still. Okay, so they are now in our little first team here. Now, if you go to dynamics, I say that, I don't actually know where it is. It might be in training. Here we go. Go to training, sorry. Go to mentoring. Make a little mentoring group. You want players of a specific position. So both Williams and I forgot his name. The other, I can't say, Hoover, I think it is, something like that. They both play a very similar position, which is fullback. So if I press that there, now the first thing is I want to add both of them into this. The next thing is you want to add someone with a good personality. Usually professional is the best one to go, right? But good personality and similar position. Now, I then have to look for fullbacks in my side. You don't really want to pick young ones either. See, Trent would be great for this, but he's so young I perhaps would not use him. You know, Robertson, he's a first team player, so first team players I'm not overly keen on using. Henderson can play there, but I think I would go for Raphael. It would be Raphael or Henderson that I would go for. If I wanted them more defensive, I'd go for Henderson. The fact that he's also a leader helps a lot. If you have a look here, estimated influence on the group, Henderson's is going to be significant. Either he's really going to rub off on these players. his key attributes are going to help rub off on these players as well. So Henderson, you know, stamina, anticipation, composure, leadership, determination, bravery. This is all going to help rub off extra on these players. As opposed to if I did side Raphael, because you'd always want to check this anyway. He's got an average influence, which is, you know, it's still usable, but if possible, get someone with significant. Okay, you don't want loads of people in the same group. You just want one. Okay, Henderson, he's not playing first team for me, so well, I say that he's a substitute. Okay, don't judge. But yeah, so that works fantastically well. Him as a team leader, he's gonna have great bits like that. So I could choose, well, anyone really, any one of these top players here, and there's a good chance they're gonna have good influence. I mean, how just out of interest, let's say I wasn't playing. Trent. What sort of influence would he have? Yeah, he'd have an average one as well. So you just kind of have to look for it. Once again, that doesn't mean you can put a striker in with a load of centre back. That's not going to work. It's not what you want. But something along those lines. That's what you want. Now, you also want, and this is kind of the basic stuff now coming up. If we go to like Club Vision and not Club Vision. Often lose myself. Let's type in Liverpool. There we go, Liverpool. Right, you often then want the best facilities. Okay. Now this is a range of things. You want good. You want good youth recruitment, obviously, for your future intakes. You want good youth facilities, because it's going to be to do with all your youth. As well as, I can't really see it, but I'm sure it's somewhere on here, good training grounds, things like that. Things that are just behind the scenes that are going to help out. Same with your staff, okay? I've got a great coaching team here. Youth team, I mean, could do a little bit and some bits. So, well, actually, that's my recruitment. So, if I go into my coaching team, we'll see the ones that kind of have more of the influence. Well, at least I thought I would. I'm probably on the wrong bit, know me. I do not go into my youth team very much. Youth team, staff team even. I don't really visit it very often. Ah, here we are. But yeah, you'll see what you kind of have to work with. You want these obviously to be at their best. So if we're just going for general, I mean, you got the manager here. He's going to obviously have an overall view on things. Assistant manager and whatnot. It's just going to keep going like that. These are all behind the scene things that you'll just learn as you go along. Whether it be under 18s, under 23s, you want them playing the same way. You want them kind of like similar managers, whoever you pick, as well as the good youth facilities and whatnot. And you can always ask the board to help you with this. Another thing I do like to do, and it probably doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but at the start of the season I like to play a few friendlies against my under 23s and under 18s, just to give them that little more. But without doubt, the best thing you can do for any youth player is play them in your first team. So, for example, if I put my first team on here, this is my first team. Obviously, that doesn't look like you're going to get in it, no matter who you are. But if I really wanted to, I could integrate another good player. It might cost me the title. It might not. But it's a risk that you have to take sometimes. Now, that does not mean you go and chuck all your youth players in your first team. Every single season, what I want you to do, look at 2 good youth team players. In my experience right here, I have obviously Burnham. I bought him though, 22 million. But he's he is the best one I've currently got. Then I'd probably say the lad here is my next best. whilst I'd say he's not quite ready for football, I can probably, because he can play a nice little number of positions back here, I could probably be very cheeky and put him in this side. Now, you'll see I've got 3 players that can play wingers here. I've got 3 players who can play in the midfield. I've got a striker, a right back, Gomez can play left back, and a centre back. So what I'm seeing here is I've got an overload in the midfield and an overload on the wings. Now, I do not need 3 wingers. However, Oxlade-Chamberlain has an advantage over these two because, very simply, he can play in the midfield. Firmino I'm not going to get rid of because he can also play a striker. Now this leaves me the option of Wijnaldum, Minamino, or Sakiri. Now, because I have some very strong wingers, the chance of me substituting them is not that great. Oxlade-Chamberlain is a right-footed player, which means I put him where Mane is. Minamino is also a right-footed player, which means I would take Minamino out to put the lad in. Now, he's then going to act as a substitute that does not get used very often, unless we win 2-0, 3-0, to come on get a bit of game time, because he needs constant game time, otherwise I might as well send him out on loan. What we mean is, he needs to be getting game time at least, well, he needs to be getting subbed on at least once every other big game. And I have to play him in cups as well. He needs plenty of game time to develop, or I might as well just send him out on loan. However, my lad here, now integrating him in the team, it's not too bad, because let's say, if I did want to, I'd take Wijnaldum out. Okay, now looking at him, let's see, what's he like as a deep line playmaker? Perhaps not the best, and this could cause a lot of problems for him, but as a box-to-box, whilst he's still not the best, he can definitely play it. What I would then do, I would take Henderson out and put him in. Now this is a very big thing. Over the course of this season, he will make that spot his own. He will struggle, but at the end of the season, you will see these stats go very, very high up, to the point where he is no longer a player playing out of his depth. He will be a first teamer, or at worst a substitute. He will improve so much over the course of the season. I mean, if you compare stats, for example, I know it's not as much, but Gomez does not have as good of stats as Matip for his role. There's not much in it, but he doesn't. But I choose to play Gomez because he can develop those stats, whereas Matip will not. Henderson's getting on, so if I wanted to play lad here, I would. And at the end of the season, he would become a first teamer. And now I can integrate another youth player. So first season, he's in there. There you go. I've just downgraded a 29-year-old for a 16-year-old. He will then have that position to himself for the next 13 to 14 years easily. So I don't have to touch that position anymore. I then look around my team. He's not old. Salah? No, not really. 27. Mane, 27. Robertson's like 25. Kante. I then look at, say, Fabinho, 26. Yeah, good. Van Dijk, 28. So Van Dijk would then be my next aim to try and replace for future reference, which means I'd have to find another centre back of good potential quality. Now, there's no point me just, say for example, say next season, say he's first teamer now, putting Hoover there, he will develop, but perhaps not to the standard that we need him to. So to me, he's not worth developing any farther. I would loan him because he is not going to develop any more than a substitute player. Bellingham he will develop into a first teamer, and you only want to do this with first teamers. You don't want to spend your whole time developing substitutes. Substitutes, they're the ones you want to chuck out on, like. You don't need them in your first team. You know, naturally, I would not have Hoover here. I'm going to call him Hoover. I have no idea how you pronounce it. I would not have him in the team. The reason being, like I said, he's a substitute. You know, this season, I've not had... Well, if I click on actually, he has played 2 games for me. It's not enough. I've not been developing correctly. And the reason for that is because I want to loan him, but I can't loan him whilst he's on youth contract. Annoyingly. But I need him to be loaned out for the time being, because right now I have a chance of a title. And in my opinion, if we take him out for now, I am still developing Gomez into being that solid force that I need him to be. Next season, however, he might well be in our team. You know, Henderson will be 30 years old. I'd like to rotate, get him in, and things like that. Even halfway through a season, there's every chance I might try and develop him. But this is what you want to do. Develop one youth player every season. Try and make it your goal. Every season, develop one youth player. And you'll be amazed. If you were developing a whole 11, that would take you 11 years to do. But within that 11 years, say your first player was 16 years old, like Bellingham. Within those 11 years, he would only be 27 years old. Which means you would have developed an entire team, and your oldest player would be like 27 years old. That's mad. And you can develop them in your image, the way you want them to be. Because there's nothing worse than what's happening at Tottenham in real life, but there's no worse than having a team that is just full of players that are too old, and these are players that you depend on. If you look at Tottenham in real life, they depend heavily on their centre-back partnerships. I know they have, where is it, Sanchez here, but that's it. It is constant rotation. You have to play with people's ages. You do not want an aging squad. As soon as you get an aging squad, you've got a complete rebuild. If I may take you back to the days of David Moyes at Manchester United, when he took over from Sir Alex, he took over a team which had had their peak and is done. They're too old. It was not going anywhere. And that's something that Sir Alex, he did do quite well. He, you know, Evra was getting on, so I believe he signed Butler at the time, and he was becoming a good player. You know, same with Nane was introduced, everyone like that. You introduce youth slowly to replace the older, more senior players. And the reason you do that is because, like I said, down the line, if I did nothing for, say, the next 3 seasons, okay, I didn't introduce any youth, I just got a lot of substitutes, you know, stuff like that. Salah would be 30, Mane would be 30, Dybala would be 28, Henderson 32, Naby, he'd be 27, Fabinho 29, Robertson 28, Van Dijk, we'd have 31-year-old Van Dijk, okay? That's not good. That is not going to win you the title. That's just an aging squad. Which then means I have to replace several positions all at once. So, Henderson could definitely go 2 or 3 more seasons. But if I left it that long, I'd have to change several positions at once. In my opinion, looking at this squad, Henderson's the first one that would need to be changed. And then Van Dijk. And then from there, we kind of probably start looking at Mane and Salah. But you'll get to have a nice little look, actually. If you ever want to see if a player's going downhill or anything, go to their reports. no, development in it. Progress, here we go. And you'll kind of see by that graph. I mean, at the minute, Henderson's doing absolutely fine, but over years, this graph will get a lot longer, and you'll start to see where they start to decline, and that's more or less where you really urgently need to replace them. Henderson is not going to get any better, despite what his graph said. He's not going to get majorly better. He might get a stat here, stat there, but he's not going to get majorly better. At 29, he's going to need replacing. But like I said, that does not mean you want to go and buy loads and loads of youth and just chuck them in there, because you still need those older players, that leadership, to get you through it. So do it slowly, one position at a time. Okay? But anyway, that's enough from me. I hope this has helped you. If it has, please leave a like, comment, and just gradually tell me what you think. Thank you, and until next time, and I'll see you later.